Iguodala. Iguodala to Curry, back to Iguodala, up for the layup. Oh, blocked by James. Curry, one-on-one. Irving puts it up. It's good. Kyrie Irving from downtown. The three, steps back, crossover, puts up a three. Rebound James. Second. It's over. It's over. Cleveland is a city of champions once again. The Cavaliers are NBA champions.
Cleveland! This is for you!
What's up, Cavs fans? Welcome to another edition of the Block the Shot Stop. Here with Skylar Webker. I am Kevin Lynch to talk about a sweep of the Philadelphia 76ers by our beloved Cleveland Cavaliers. And while they don't make it look easy, this team's finally starting to get results.
Yeah, they are. And with a lot of different contributors in that. Obviously, with the news of Darius Garland and him going out in that first game, it's good to see the Cavs mount that comeback win in that second game against Philly.
Yeah, so you guys discussed the first game against Philadelphia, which, as a recap, was a pretty handling win by the Cavs. It was 133-107, if I remember correctly, where the Cavs it was one of their more consistent performances of the year. So, kind of coming back on the latter half of a back-to-back, Sixers are gonna want to have some payback, make a better showing than that first game, and they did. But the Cavs prevailed behind a really good fourth quarter and a lot of heroics from Jaylon Tyson, 117-115. No sense in burying the lead here, Sky. Let's just jump right in to talk about Jaylon.
Yeah, man. Jaylon Tyson, I mean, game of the year from him. Obviously, the scoring was exceptional and efficient. Going 13 from 17 from the floor, 7 of 9 from 3. Perfect from the free throw line. Love that. And then just his defensive intensity. I mean, to kind of hold Tyrese Maxey. I know it's crazy, but holding Tyrese Maxey to 22 points is pretty impressive because Tyrese Maxey is averaging 32 on the year. So incredible game from Jaylon Tyson, especially one where he's needed.
Yeah, and I'm glad you said that because I actually was going to start with the defense, and then obviously we need to talk about the offense. But you're right. Tyrese Maxey had 22 in this game, but he only had 14 in the first matchup where Jaylon Tyson was the primary defender in that one as well. And he got those 22 points very inefficiently, like 9 of 23 shooting, only 2 of 8 from 3, and he's been an incredible 3-point shooter this year. I mean, for Cavs fans that don't watch as much of Philadelphia, like legitimately, Tyrese Maxey is having an on-par offensive season with Donovan Mitchell. That's how good he has been this year. And I mean, as a compliment to both of them. So to hold Tyrese Maxey to 36 points over 2 games with very inefficient shooting. I think he shot below 40% the 2 games combined. Incredible job by Jaylon. And then you put the offense on top of it. You read off the numbers. I mean, I don't know if you said, but it's 7 3-pointers in this game. It's one of those games. I mean, most impressive for me is he scored these 39 points on 17 shots. Just ultra efficient. 7 of 9 from 3. It's one of those things. I don't remember him missing a shot, to be honest. Like he was that good. And we'll talk about Jaylon more, but credit to Donovan Mitchell and Craig Porter Jr. because they knew who was hot and they kept going to him, to the tune of those 2 guys combined for 23 assists. Which is incredible. And my guess is a large portion of those 23, I don't have the exact number, were setting up Jaylon Tyson to score. Just absolutely incredible game by Jaylon. And then this team doing things that they did last year and not as much this year in kind of finding the hot hand, finding the mismatch and exploiting it and continue to go to it. And I thought they did a really good job of that in this game.
Absolutely. And we talked about it before, how Craig Porter Jr. and Jaylon Tyson seem to have that same kind of chemistry that Darius Garland and Jared Allen have. And with Garland being out, Craig Porter Jr. stepping into the starting lineup, he went to Jaylon a lot. I mean, you read off the Donovan Mitchell and Craig Porter Jr. 23 assists, 23 of the Cavs' 38 assists were just those two guys. And like you said, a lot of it was feeding the hot hand, exploiting the matchup. And not only was it just kind of easy threes or open threes, but Jaylon Tyson was cutting to the rim. It wasn't just, stand there and wait for us to get you the ball. He was helping create some of the shot offense and assist opportunities.
Absolutely. You said it, the 38 assists. They had 38 assists on 44 made field goals. And this is coming off of Wednesday night, the first game against the 76ers. They had 41 assists on 50 field goals. Like, again, something that they were so good about last year, ball movement, setting people up, putting pressure on the rim and then kicking out for an open three or dump off to a big guy in the dunker spot. It was unbelievable. And in this game, to do it without Darius Garland and without Sam Merrill, who, while he's not known for his rim pressure or anything like that, he is very good at moving the ball and obviously capitalizing, being on the scoring end of all those assists. I was looking it up out of curiosity that the Cavs are now up to 8th in the league in assist percentage, which assist percentage is the amount of field goals that have an assist attached to them, basically in how much you play iso ball versus how much you play kind of more team basketball. And they're up to they're now up to 8th. They were middle of the pack for most of the season. So in this last 10 game stretch where they've playing some of their best basketball of the year, they're 7-3 in their last 10 games. That has been one thing that has kind of dictated their success. It's raising that assist percentage, and kind of by doing that, they seem to be shooting a much better percentage overall, both from three and from the field.
Yeah, I think we talked about this with Luka when he showed us how the Cavs are actually generating more wide open shots this year. They're just not hitting any of them in that first portion of the year. It seems like things are finally starting to go their way where they're hitting a lot of these wide open shots that they are generating for themselves.
Yeah. I think they have much better balance now. Also in this game, again, it seems to be a theme with these guys is when they take a more reasonable amount of threes, the offense really clicks. And they took 34 threes in this game. I think that's right around where they should be at, like mid 30s. It's when they get overly reliant and they're shooting 50 plus, like they have in a lot of games. For a large portion of the season, they were leading the league in 3-point attempts per game. I think they're down to like 4th now. But when they take a more reasonable amount of threes and they kind of use getting to the rim and working through the big guys to then set up the three ball and have the right guys shooting the three ball for the Cavs, a lot of their offense just seems to fall into place. Yeah,
I totally agree. When they're not so reliant on the 3-point ball, it allows the offense to just be a little more in rhythm, efficient, and kind of allows you to break down a defense. Because if the defense knows there's a 44% chance that they're shooting a 3-pointer right now, they're really going to focus on defending you on the line.
Yeah. And I went back to look, like, so in this 10-game winning streak, I don't have the exact numbers, but or the exact average, but you go back and look at a lot of these games. Starting this good stretch started with that win against San Antonio, and you just look at 3-point attempts, like 42, 38, 39, 42, 26, 33, 31, on and on. Basically, they've been shooting somewhere between 30 and 42 a game, opposed to getting up well up and above that, like they had sometimes, and even in games where the percentage wasn't great, because they kept the attempts more moderate, they were able to win or at least be competitive in a lot of these games. Even the 3 losses were pretty competitive games. Like it's a struggle compared to what we saw last year, but like I think for the first time all season, you could say there's been progress in these last like 3 weeks or so.
I agree. And it's kind of the perfect time for progress. I mean, we've talked about how, I don't care how Dan Gilbert spends his money, but if I were an owner and this team was performing the way it was and coming to the trade deadline, that the Cavs might have to make some moves to get duck under the tax. But right now, if they can just keep this going, I think Dan Gilbert's happy to pay that tax.
Yeah. Especially, the Cavs' greatest advantage this season is the fact that they play in the Eastern Conference, which isn't great. And so, after this better stretch of basketball they played, they're actually now up to 5th in the Eastern Conference standings. They're only a couple games from jumping up as high as 3rd. I want to say they're like 3.5 games.
Game and a half.
Yeah, they're 3.5 behind Boston to get up to 2nd. So like everything they want to accomplish for the most part is still in front of them if they can play well enough. Obviously now, having a reoccurrence of injuries again with Garland and Merrill, and kind of the uncertainty of how long those guys will be out or be affected by these injuries is a bit of a bummer after you feel like you finally started to get healthy for the first time. But and kind of going back to the game that we're reviewing, if they can get contributions, like I'm glad Kenny has done so many lineup changes, and some were by necessity about who was available. Some was out just trying to get a rhythm and all this thing. I'm glad he went with the simplest move in this game. Garland and Merrill aren't available. I'm starting Jaylon Tyson and Craig Porter Jr. I think those were the obvious moves, but he hasn't always made the obvious moves this year. And I think those two guys were the difference this game. We've talked all about Jaylon. He was obviously the star of this game. And I think when you combine the defense with the offense, I think this potentially is the single best performance the Cavaliers had this whole year. But then Craig Porter Jr. playing just 22 minutes to have 11 rebounds, and he just does the thing where he feels like he's all over. 11 assists, 3 rebounds. He does the thing where he feels like he's all over the floor. Tyrese Proctor got his first meaningful run in a while, it seems like, and was really, really good. This is one of those games where Kenny pressed all the right buttons. He tried to go to Lonzo and give Lonzo a chance with the injuries, and went away from him pretty quickly when he saw it wasn't going well, and inserted Tyrese Proctor and as well as some other guys, like leaned on the starters a lot. Like, Tyson played 38 minutes, as did Donovan Mitchell. Mobley played 36. So this was a game I think Kenny had a really good game, and you can't say that about every game this season, but I think this game he did.
Yeah, I wanted to bring up Tyrese Proctor because we haven't seen him in a little while, and kind of to be expected just for where he was drafted, and knowing that he was going to be a little more of a developmental piece, being able to step in and contribute like he did. 12 points, 5 of 8 from the floor, 3 of 5 from the 3-point line. The second best scorer off the Cavaliers bench just in the 11 minutes he played.
Yeah.
Really, really needed that. I mean, obviously won by 2 points, so you needed any scoring you could get. And I'm curious what the Cavs do with him next year, or how he can progress and develop. Because we kind of saw the same thing with Jaylon Tyson, where he got on sometimes and you were impressed by a little bit. Other things you could clearly tell needed work. So I'm curious if he can take the same year 2 leap that Jaylon Tyson did, what this Cavs team can really feel like and be like. Because without all of the picks that they have or don't have, I should say, it's going to be important that they can develop anybody that they can, like Craig Porter Jr., who they got undrafted, like Jaylon Tyson, like Tyrese Proctor. If they can develop these guys, I think this team can really go a lot farther, just because of the payroll that they can spend on other things.
Tyrese Proctor certainly has talent and will have an opportunity to be a guy who sticks in the league for a long time. I mean, I could see him as being like your first guard off the bench, kind of play kind of a combo guard, offer some ball handling, offer some scoring, all those things. I think that there's a real chance that he could be that. it's kind of one unfortunate thing about the Cavs struggling as much in the regular season as they have this year. If the regular season was going like it did last year, you could give Tyrese Proctor a lot more opportunities and develop him more in season. But right now, I think Kenny doesn't quite. I think Kenny sees all of his talent, but doesn't quite have the confidence in him to always go out there and in tight games and make play. I mean, he's a rookie. He's a late second round pick. It's understandable, but I definitely think he has the talent and the opportunity to turn into something that to be kind of the next developmental project that the Cavs have frankly been kind of known for the last few years.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm curious what your take is with the DNP of Larry Nance. I don't know if that's precautionary or just like Kenny's not seeing what he needs from him.
I don't think it's precautionary. I think Naquan Tomlin has just passed him. I think Larry Nance, frankly, he was playing really bad basketball and then he got hurt. And so now he's coming back and Naquan Tomlin's giving them a lot of what they need as far as just hustle plays. He's such a good rebounder. He's a really good defender and kind of just I think he's giving the Cavs more of what they do need now than versus what the Cavs thought they would need. The Cavs thought they would need another stretch big, to complement JA and Mobley. And I think it turns out they actually need more defense and more rebounding and more hustle. And not saying Larry Nance can't do any of those things, but I do think Naquan Tomlin's doing them to a superior level now. And I don't think it's precautionary. I think there could well be an opportunity still for Larry Nance Jr. this season with the Cavs, but I think for right now he's a little bit buried on the bench. And to be honest, I thought Thomas Bryant exceeded my expectations in his minutes. So if they were going to go even deeper into the bench for another big, I wouldn't even be surprised if they went to Thomas Bryant before they went to Larry Nance Jr.
Yeah, something that Tim and I talked about is if you were getting more from Bryant than what you're getting from Nance and what that could mean as we are 20 days away from the trade deadline, a little less than 20, 18 days.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I know as far as the trade deadline goes, everybody always says this team, or a lot of people say this team really needs a third big that complements these guys. That's more, physical and all those things. I don't disagree. I just don't think Kenny would. I don't think Kenny agrees. How often does Kenny only go to one? Does he bench Jared Allen in the fourth quarters? And he seems like he likes to go one big at critical times. So adding a third big, I don't know how much that would do for them because I just don't know how much Kenny would put a third big in the rotation, to be honest. I think Kenny likes playing smaller and more athletic, and Naquan Tomlin gives him that option.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I'm curious to see what the Cavs do coming into the trade deadline. Obviously, they have some money to move or contracts to move. There's a whole bunch of scenarios out there, but I'm curious on what they do to get better because I think they've identified the type of players that they like, smaller, more athletic guys like you just outlined, and who they could go get to add to that.
Yeah, and it's interesting because, a month or two ago, I said I want to prioritize getting, some Darius Garland insurance for the regular season. If Darius is hurt in the playoffs, team's just not going to go to the NBA Finals, right? But for the regular season, I think they could, if they had a better backup point guard, this is when the backup point guard was Lonzo Ball, that they could win a lot more games and everything. Now with the emergence of Craig Porter Jr., with kind of the stability of some of the other rotation pieces, I don't know if that's the biggest need. I feel like we might be back to what always seems to be square one with the Cavs is to have bigger wings that can defend. And I don't know. We'll talk more trade deadline stuff. I just don't want the Cavs to keep looking for specialty guys, meaning guys that do one thing really well and other things not as well. It is so different that's part of the reason Jaylon Tyson has just thrived and changed the trajectory of his team, because he's one of the few guys that has been above average pretty much every game on both sides of the ball. And the Cavs have so many guys who are concentrated offensively and a few that are concentrated defensively, but very few that kind of go both ways, especially consistently. And having guys that could do that, that's why they always say the 3-and-D thing or whatever. The whole point of 3-and-D is somebody who can contribute both offensively and defensively. And so I don't know. For me, the trade deadline is still like 3 weeks away. I actually want to see the rest of this month's games. That we got like 5 more games this month. I kind of want to see these 5, see how things are shaking out, and then, kind of assess what they might do here at the trade deadline. What's it, February 6th? Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you, and I think the Cavs are going to have a stretch where they're really going to have to show themselves, because with the Darius Garland news that he'll be out 7 to 10 days with the right toe strain. Now, I get the foot right, non-surgically repaired toe, the other one now. So that's horrible timing, but we'll have to see what this Cavs team can do to either keep going or stay afloat.
Yeah, you just wonder if Darius is ever going to be able to just stay healthy. It's just, how many times was he out because he took a shot to the head because he was always the shortest guy on the court?
Yep.
And now, so it's kind of bad when you're having consistent injuries to your head and your feet. I feel like that might be a bad sign. But anyway, we can move on. The Cavs have a couple games coming up between now, before our next show, including tomorrow. They play middle of the afternoon, 2:30 Eastern time, like it's part of the NBA's Martin Luther King Day celebration, against the Oklahoma City Thunder. The first time they've seen them this year. Last year, when they're the 2 best teams in the regular season, they split the games. The Cavs won the first, pretty dramatic game, and then got kind of blown out in the second game. Where so much seems to be different for the Cavs this year, it kind of OKC is kind of just running it back the same way. I think last I saw they're 35-8, and that includes a little bit of a slide for them lately. They're incredible. They're a juggernaut. And they've lost a few games recently, even to teams you wouldn't expect them to, but it'll be as big a challenge as the Cavs have had all year.
Yeah, and this is a game that you really wish you had Darius Garland and Sam Merrill, because you need the extra ball movement, you need the shooting, because the way that Oklahoma City, they will shoot you off the floor. Every single person on that team can shoot. You talk about guys that can impact both ways. Everybody on their team can impact both ways of the ball.
Yeah, and they're the best in the league at putting defensive pressure on the ball handlers, and now you're going to be without your best ball handler. I think that's I agree. It's maybe one of the worst matchups for Darius Garland to miss. My guess is guys like Alex Caruso and Casey Wallace and Lou Dort, if he plays, I know he's missed a couple games recently, are going to be absolutely up in the grill of Donovan Mitchell, of Craig Porter Jr., of anyone else who's handling the ball. And for all the good things that happened against Philadelphia, the one thing was the Cavs did not take care of the ball very well. 18 turnovers in the last game, and I think they didn't have one in the fourth quarter. I think they had 0 in the fourth quarter. They had that's wrong. They had 4 in the fourth quarter. But anyway, 18 for the game, and it seemed like worse than that. And I think 76ers had 30-something points off those 18 turnovers, which is frankly what kept the game close. So turning the ball over 18 times against the 76ers equates to about 30 against the Oklahoma City Thunder. So I think that's if the Cavs are going to stay in this game, have a chance to win, they're going to have to do a much better job protecting the ball and getting themselves into their offense against Oklahoma City's pressure defense.
I agree. And to the Cavs' credit, I would say the only things that Oklahoma really blow them out on is defense, the points against, blocks and steals. But the Cavs actually assist more. They actually rebound more. Their field goal percentage is pretty similar, and their shooting or their total points are pretty similar. So if you can find a way to get out of their defensive pressure, whether that's getting fouls or what, I mean, I think that might be the key to sealing a win against the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Yeah. Yep. And then we'll be back Wednesday night right after the Cavs' next game, which is against the Charlotte Hornets, who they've randomly played some really competitive games against. I believe that they've played them a couple times recently. I know they split the last 2 games. I can't remember if they won the last one or not, but Charlotte's just a really talented young team. We've seen that with them. I think weren't they the team that we lost? The Cavs lost in overtime when they didn't score a point in overtime. They were like outscored 10-0 in overtime in December. Yeah. So certainly a game that that the Cavs have a good chance to win and everything, but we'll still have to play well, because Charlotte's they're sneaking up on people. They're better than their record indicates they are.
Yeah, they are. And I think you said it the last time we played Charlotte, or maybe it was when we were going up against the Jazz, but if the Cavs don't come in serious, they have a very good chance of getting jumped. And
yeah,
I don't think they will this time again. I doubt they let it happen again. But like you said, it's a team to watch.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Well, before we get out of here, we'll close it out with our way we close out every Sunday episode, and that's to say one nice thing. We actually said mostly nice things about the Cavs and on this episode, but we always find one good thing, whether it's in our personal lives or wherever, to share and put something nice on the internet. So this week, Skylar, what do you got?
So as I alluded to last week, or maybe whenever, remodeling my kitchen, I started the work on that. And so my dad came and helped me with quite a bit of stuff. And my mom came and went out with Devin and Liam. And it was just a nice, focus time to really get to hang out with my dad and do the things that my dad likes to do. Like, my dad loves doing this type of stuff. Growing up, I didn't appreciate it when I was growing up, because I was just kind of felt like slave labor. Because I would remodel everything with my dad in their house. I think they've done every room twice over in their house. And then my dad would kind of pimp me out to everybody else in the neighborhood that needed something going on. So growing up, I didn't appreciate it very much. But now that I'm older, I really do appreciate that stuff and appreciate the time, and got a lot of things done. We got the sink in, we got the new microwave all routed in and tied into the electrical and everything like that. Retrofitted this one cabinet. So now we're just on to painting. So it was really nice to have that time with my dad and him take the time out of his day and weekend to come and help us. It was awesome.
No, that's great. Good continue. I will probably hear. It's nice to hear nice things about a home remodel, because I feel like that's something that you could go the other way quite a bit.
we only had one flood, and it's because there's an inlet valve for the garbage disposal that we didn't punch out to route the dishwasher to. So the dishwasher only flooded once, but after that, we were good.
For mine, I was going to share a book that I'm reading. Well, I should say an audiobook I'm listening to, because all I do is drive most of the time. And I was just almost finished it this evening. It's about Mackenzie Scott. If anybody doesn't know Mackenzie Scott, she's the ex-wife of Jeff Bezos and has turned into literally the #1 philanthropist in the country. The book about her is called Mackenzie Scott: The Life, Vision, and Philanthropy of a Trailblazing Author and Humanitarian. And it's basically all about how she decided to set up her philanthropy, and how she wanted to see it grow to the point where, like, I think, I don't know if it's last year, 2025 or 2024, she said like she donated over $7.5 billion, which people think is the most anyone's ever donated in a single year, to nonprofit organizations. And the fact that she not only does it, but she does it with transparency. She actually started a website called Yield Giving that you can go to and see where every dollar goes to. It's where you can apply for funds. And without getting into the individual organizations, like the places she gives the money to are the places that and the people that need support the most. And just in an era where greed is at an all-time high and people are trying to consolidate wealth as much as possible, she's going the other way with it. And so I just thought she's a super interesting person to learn about, and it was a really good book to listen to.
That's awesome. I think if you have Apple TV, I think they kind of turned that into a TV show called Loot with Maya Rudolph, where she divorces a billionaire and then throws her everything into philanthropy.
I'm familiar. It's a very loose comedic adaptation of her life. Yeah. So, well, for that, we will get out of here. Thank you so much for joining. As always, if you're not already, subscribe to us on YouTube, anywhere you get your audio podcast, we'll be there. We're going to be back Wednesday nights following the game against the Hornets to review that and the Thunder game. And again, thank you for joining us. Always good to hang out. So for Skylar Webker, I am Kevin Lynch. Have a good night. And as always,
go Cavs.